All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Chicago Bears in today's video, folks. This season is different. I know it feels different. I know maybe it felt a little bit different this time last year in a good way, obviously, but you have your franchise QB in Caleb Williams. You got one of the most underrated, undercovered, underrespected defenses in the entire National Football League. You have DJ Moore, you got DeAndre Swift, you got Rome Odunze, you got Keenan Allen, you got Mr. Cole Kmet, freaking legend. The Bears are going to be a good team. And maybe it doesn't happen right away, but I promise you there will at least be a 6-week stretch this upcoming season where you're watching the Chicago Bears and you're thinking, damn. So let's talk about Caleb Williams when we get into this video. Number 1 overall draft pick. Now, he finished 2 preseason starts, a combined 10 to 20 passing for 170 yards, a ton of freaking highlights, pretty much just like his collegiate career, especially at USC from the past seasons. When you watch him play and you use his eyes, like, 10 to 20 passing, 170 yards. The passing yards, that's a great statistic. Maybe the completion percentage, you can nitpick it if you really freaking want. You're going to see so many highlight plays this upcoming season from Caleb Williams. Now, what I did notice as well is you're also probably going to see a good amount of turnovers from Caleb Williams, but he was pushing the ball downfield. He led all rookie quarterbacks through 2 games with 10.1 air yards per attempt. Folks, this is the franchise QB. And everybody should be freaking amped. I know there's hesitation. I know people don't want to get too ahead of themselves, but I'll tell you right here, right now, it's legit. This is going to be legit. So welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Chicago Bears in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily Bears and NFL content. Bears fans, NFL fans, we're trying to get this video to 100 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. So I forget who. Somebody just wrote an article on ESPN talking about Rome Odunze is not your typical wide receiver 3. Or I actually think it was Rome Odunze is not your wide receiver number 3. On paper, this is one of the most loaded receiving rooms in the NFL, and Rome has yet to even play a snap. He obviously drafted 9th overall. His biggest highlight from preseason came against the Cincinnati Bengals on a spin-out heave. This is a dude who can change the game, whether he's catching, whether he's running on a fly, on a dime. Rome Odunze would never have been selected 9th overall if this wasn't a generational quarterback and wide receiver draft class. Folks, this is the top 5 pick we're talking about right here. He's the biggest receiver on the Chicago Bears. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. He ran a 4.45 second 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine. That was 18th among all receivers. In addition to leading college football with receiving yards at 1,640, he also had 21 catches on deep balls, which is a throw over 20 yards downfield, 23 receptions on vertical routes. Both of those 2 marks were the highest in the entire college football sphere, and he was tied for the lead with 24 contested catches. So this is, I love Keenan Allen, but he's getting a little bit older. I think by the end of the season, I think actually probably 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks into the regular season, I think it'll actually be pretty clear Rome is wide receiver number 2, which is crazy to say because Keenan Allen is coming off a career season where he was pretty much averaging 100, yes, 100 receiving yards per game. And folks, this isn't Madden. That's incredible. I mean, that's one of the best receivers in the NFL, but obviously he's getting a little bit older. He's on an expiring contract. We're kind of wondering if a contract extension for the Chicago Bears on him is going to happen. But Rome Odunze, the hype is real. Training camp highlights, OTA, rookie minicamp highlights, preseason highlights. You're going to see it, and you're going to see it immediately. But that's not just it. We talk time and time again about Tyler Scott on this channel all preseason because he was doing everything right. And, I'm not trying to rag on Justin Fields in any way, shape, or form, but a cat like Darnell Mooney, a cat like Tyler Scott, outside of DJ Moore, there was no receiver on the Chicago Bears roster with over 500 yards, right? Justin Fields, crazy dual threat, probably the best rusher of the football at the quarterback position in the entire National Football League. But where things get interesting outside of your top 4 receivers is Velus Jones Jr. So this was a former 3rd-round pick. We have a brand new kickoff rule. We also been seeing Velus Jones Jr. get reps in the running back room. He's got great size. He has phenomenal speed. That's a combo you just don't really want to give up on. So here's what's interesting. All right. He had in his first 2 seasons 11 catches for 127 yards and 1 touchdown in his first 2 seasons. Now, what's flying under the radar here, and that the Bears obviously took note of during the offseason, is he had 154 rushing yards and a touchdown on only 17 carries in the last 2 seasons. So he's been shifted. He's still returning kicks, returning punts, or whatever. He was shifted to the running back room, which is already freaking loaded, but he's got a very career that's reminiscent of Cordell Patterson. Like, Cordell started off his NFL career as a wide receiver, and there just wasn't really much there. And then, obviously in Atlanta, they moved him to running back, and that's why Cordell Patterson, obviously outside of his return skills. But he had a nice little role as the running back. So this is a 2022 third-round draft pick. In preseason, 25 carries for 158 yards. Folks, that's 6.3 yards per carry. He also had 2 touchdowns during the entire preseason, including that game, the preseason finale, where he had 111 yards on just 13 touches. But folks, it doesn't end just there. Another player we've been highlighting on this channel the entire freaking offseason is 5th-round draft pick out of Kansas, Austin Booker. Now, he had 2.5 sacks. Granted, all that did come in one game, but PFF credited him with 9 total pressures on only 58 opportunities. So the reason I'm mentioning this is, Montez Sweat in the second half, once the Bears traded for him last year at the deadline, it was a completely different defensive end. Or defensive line, I should say. It actually turned into a completely different defense because Montez Sweat's one of the best, or I should say, he's probably one of the more underappreciated, underrated edge rushers in the entire National Football League. And by the way, he also had a phenomenal preseason. He had a phenomenal training camp. His hype's as high as ever. But the good news is you also picked up Darrell Taylor, which we just mentioned, or we talked about in the previous video. You still have DeMarcus Walker. And I just think, DeMarcus, solid, sturdy veteran, right? I think he had a down year last year. He mentioned he played hurt pretty much the entire season. Austin Booker will probably be the starting edge rusher at the time of this recording in 1 year from now, but it would not shock me if it was sooner rather than later. So the Chicago Bears have a really nice schedule in the first half of the season, and then you start getting into the divisional games. So you got to start winning these games early on just in case, because, even though, take a team like Minnesota, Sam Darnold, starting quarterback, JJ is done for the year. It's a divisional football game. Those are more difficult to win in general. So if the Chicago Bears can get off to a hot start, I have no reason to believe they won't make the playoffs. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button for daily Bears and NFL content. Guys, more importantly, let me know down below how many games are the Chicago Bears winning this upcoming season. Peace.